You've got to see this one. So, Florida man apparently painting anti-Hillary messages on Tampa Bay crabs. And look at this crab. Look at this crab. There's a crab that says, Hillary is a lying bitch.
Country crab!
Country crab! He found country crab, y'all. Hell yeah, he painted that on himself. He knows where he stands. Welcome back, Airheads. It's time once again for Puttin On Airs. We're in two trash boys talk about fancy shit in a way that hits. Ideally, we're here in Airstream Studios. I'm Trae Crowder. It's
Corey Ryan Forrester. What's up, everybody? Professor Cho Emeritus.
Professor Cho. Let's turn these candles on.
Oh, right.
Baby.
Good call.
So
going a little vesty today. It's fucking
So we're vesting it up. The next few episodes, you're probably gonna see us dressed in more light fare than usual. Probably no jackets, no blazers, because it's like 104 goddamn degrees outside in California right now.
Because it's fall to y'all, but it's summer where we is.
It's summer where we is in the past. Here in the past, it's summertime, and it's hot as fuck outside. And we can't run the air conditioner while we're recording. On that note, we want to do another little technical note. They are repaving my road today, so it's possible you may hear some general industrial burr business. Yeah. If you hear that.
You probably won't.
You probably won't, but we didn't want you to hear something and be like, the fuck is that the whole time, and us not have said anything about it. If it does come up, that's what it is. We can't do shit about it, but we think it's going to be fine. All right, so on this episode, my thing, Venn diagram, fancy people and trash overlap. This is a geographical overlapping. They overlap in the lovely state of Florida.
Yes.
Yes, rich people have their parts of Florida. Trash people, we all know Florida just eat up with trash. And we're going to talk about both, of course. And then Professor Cho will regale us on the subject of, what is it?
King Solomon.
King Solomon.
At biblical sumbitch.
Biblical sumbitch. First time we've ventured into the realm of the biblical fanciness, right?
Yeah, it hit me the other day. I was thinking about the fact that it's always popular on the Well Read podcast when me and Drew like learn you stuff about the Bible.
Because I'm very, very Bible dumb.
Yeah, and for the record, because of how retention works, I'm now kind of Bible dumb, but I remember a lot of stuff that I learned as a kid. But I'm definitely gonna get a lot of it wrong. But I was thinking I was like, man, I really would like to talk about the Bible with Trae, but the Bible's not fancy. And then I was like, wait a minute, King Herod, King Solomon, like the church, the palaces, like there's plenty of fancy shit. Pharaoh, there's plenty of fancy shit in the Bible. It's not all just locusts and plagues.
No.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit about King Solomon.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but generally speaking, didn't usually the fanciest motherfuckers in the Bible not hit? Like, wasn't their purpose to not hit for, like, Jesus and the people who do hit in the Bible?
It's actually...
Which makes it a little wild that the Joel Osteens and them of the world act like the Bible supports hitting in that way. Opulence. When it feels like Jesus would be like, no, I was a peasant.
Yeah, for sure. It is a little more...
I wore sandals, motherfucker.
It is a little more complicated Old Testament-wise.
Yeah,
and I'll get
it was all more complicated in the Old Testament.
Right, and I'll get into that later.
God was on his, he was wilding in the Old Testament, dude.
Yes, fundamentally, opulence and Jesus they clash completely.
Right.
So, yeah.
So Jesus is like not at all fancy.
No.
But.
Hell no.
But.
The paintings of him are.
He got fancy paintings. And again, there's people who proclaim to be his homies today who are fancy, who could perhaps be talked about on this show.
For sure.
In a degrading way because they don't hit for me.
Yeah, we could talk about Osteen and his planes.
And like Kenneth Copeland, that motherfucker.
Dude, yes.
He a demon, boy.
I feel like Kenneth Copeland, because again, we don't like to get political or too divisive on this show or whatever. But I feel like if you listen to this show and you are religious, you can still get with fuck Kenneth Copeland.
For sure, dude. It's wild.
Because he makes you look bad.
Russ, will you Google Kenneth Copeland, please?
He looked like a demon.
Just in case people don't know, and if you're only listening, you still won't know. But he's a pretty famous televangelist.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
is this the guy with with the plane and everything?
Yeah, he's the one that talks about how Jesus needs him to have a private plane because otherwise he'd be flying with sinners, and you can't have that.
His exact words about it was, Jesus don't want me to be in that tube full of demons.
Yeah.
That's what he called it.
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Look at how
A devil.
Insane.
devilish he
Devilish.
looks.
I mean,
and not like devilish, like impish, like a
No.
devilish charm.
That
like
looks
he
like a
looked
ghoul.
demonic.
A ghoul.
He looks like a ghoul.
Like, dude, if
I'm
you
not-
painted him green, if you literally just put green
Trying to tell
face
people
paint
not
on
to
it,
suck dicks or they'll go to hell.
he could play
Looking
like
like that.
He could play the Green Goblin if you just painted him green.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you wouldn't have to do any prosthetics. He's got
So-
that goblin-y look.
But apparently, you know, he has this huge following, I guess, of other lunatics who don't hit and give him all this money. And he had a new private plane and showed it off. And his justification for the private plane, in addition to Jesus not wanting him to be in a tube full of demons, was also he needs that private plane to be closer to
God.
the Lord.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, well, you know,
Physically.
Lord's
Who's
up there.
Yeah.
I'm down here. That don't hit for the Lord.
Right.
So I need to be up there.
Yeah.
But not with whores and harlots and
None of them.
homosexuals.
No, just in
all
there
these demons,
stinking and sneezing.
Muslims and Jews and whatnot.
Can't have that.
No, can't be in a plane with all them. So I need a private plane, therefore, to be closer to the Lord for whom I hit.
And
he
ostensibly,
says.
millions of people were like, "Yep, he does." That's exactly correct. I don't
This
know
is
about
a-
millions, but
This is a spontaneous thing that just came up, but I would definitely like to revisit this in a future episode.
Yeah.
Like look more into that guy and
Yeah.
find out other things that he has done and
Let's-
said, because I bet it's a fucking treasure trove. And again,
Buddy.
he's a super rich televangelist, so he fits the thing. Like
There
we
is-
can get away with
to
talking
me,
about
there's
that dude.
nothing that says that I can't do a crash course in him this day and us talk about
Yeah.
him for sure.
Yeah. All right. So, but before we get into all that, I found something earlier today that I wanted to immediately share with you and Airhead Nation out there. And it's, have you ever heard of the Air Chief Marshall Fufu, the poodle from Thailand?
Okay. Wow. You just hit me with a lot. When you said Air Chief Marshall Fufu,
Yeah.
in my head, I was like, this is some wild Native American type shit.
Look at that motherfucker.
No, I didn't know about this.
And
Air Chief Marshall Fufu.
In his regalia, full regalia, people got saluting and shit to this
Look at
motherfucker.
it. Them
So-
little boots.
yeah, he dead now, which hits. So
Did he die in
he
service?
lived to, yeah, right, yeah, got shot
down.
shot down over Cambodia.
Yeah, by a German Shepherd.
So but he lived to a ripe old age. He was
16.
clearly lavished.
Yeah, right.
And he was spoiled. Like he lived an infinitely better life than almost all Thai people.
Right.
Right.
Like my boy Ugga.
Because you got a Thai buddy named Ugga.
No, the
Oh,
dog.
the dog, the Georgia dog.
the Georgia Bulldog.
I was like, I didn't know you had any Thai friends. You're like, you don't know Ugga? His noodles is on point, dog.
Yeah, he would be. No, Ugga.
I didn't think Ugga sounded, but you've got
Yes,
like
it made
Indian
sense.
friends
Yeah.
in Chickamauga whose real names are not spoken because rednecks can't pronounce
Yeah.
their names. So I thought maybe Ugga was just the Thai man's redneck sounding name or something.
I mean, look, you're not wrong in thinking that that's what I meant, but no, I meant the dog.
So Fufu here was a dog and Air Force officer who was both the pet and served underneath the, at the time, Crown Prince of Thailand. He's now the king of Thailand.
Oh, word?
Yeah, not the dog.
Oh, wait, because he was the, yeah, right.
Yeah. I'm going to butcher this. Wajira Longhorn?
Let me say it.
Right there.
That sounds Native American, too.
Longhorn.
Yeah.
Right. But
Yeah, I was...
Buddy,
Vajira,
fuck, I don't know.
Vajira Longhorn. Yeah.
Vajira Longhorn.
Vajira Longhorn.
Vajira. Dude, it's wild.
Yeah. Vajira Longhorn. That's how I'd say that.
That right there.
Maha
Vajira
Vajira
Longhorn.
That's
that
it.
motherfucker. That's the king
That's
of Thailand.
it. Yeah, don't worry about it.
He was the crown prince for a long, long time. And his second daughter, I'm going to even just stop trying with this.
No. You got it.
Siravannavari.
That sounds Italian.
Siravannavari. Nari Radatana. Yeah. Anyway, but it's Thai apparently. That's his second daughter. She bought this dog when it was a 1-month-old puppy from a market in Bangkok, along with
I guess how much?
it don't say how much.
She's a piece.
So he said the dog was quite cute, but seemed rather weak. So
The poodle?
the poodle, so yeah, seemed weak, and so it softened his cold dead heart or whatever, and became like his mascot and number one home dog.
Yeah.
And it apparently they would present Air Chief Marshall Fufu publicly, in which he would often win over the crowd by exuding charms and executing clever stunts, right? So people knew about Air Chief Marshall Fufu here, but he really rose to public prominence when he was featured in a viral in Thailand video from 2009.
How many people are in Thailand?
I don't know.
Gotta be a ton. They pack them in there, don't they? I mean, I'm just saying.
Generally, in that part of the world, I believe they do pack them in there.
Yeah, but dude, I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
numbers ain't racist.
Plenty.
No,
well, buddy, I don't know. Plenty of racists love numbers and love to
true.
use them
Do you
racistly.
know how many blanks are responsible for
blank crimes and how many more blanks do it than we do it?
Yeah,
and
blank, please.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So this viral video, look at that motherfucker. Is that Shiravu? Oh, Jesus. Is that Longhorn?
That's Shiravu Longhorn. Vedavici.
In the shirt? Holding Air Marshall Fufu?
Is it? Because that's insane if that's the king.
Yeah, he's wearing him.
He's wearing like a... Yeah, they're saluting you, right? No, they're saluting the dog.
Well, he was a Playboy type. Okay. I don't know what that shirt, I don't know what's going on there.
Can I say this? Like, he's obviously entitled to do whatever he wants, but like low-rise jeans are not for him. Like, he needs some hip huggers. And me too, for the record. Me too. Because I'm built like that.
Right. So anyway, the video in 2009, the viral video showed, I don't know if that's her. It looks like it definitely could be her, but it showed the crown prince's third wife. So his wife at the time, crown princess Srirasmi, right? Who was a former waitress that he met and married into the goddamn palace.
Word.
So that hits for her.
Man,
yeah,
you don't ever really, I mean, like, we've talked a couple times about like
that didn't hit for people.
Yeah, of course. But it still happened.
And then listen to how it turned out. Oh. So this video.
Threw her off a plane,
Video went viral of her at a birthday party for Fufu. It was Fufu's birthday. It was Chief Air Marshal Fufu's birthday party. And the crown princess is at it wearing nothing but a G-string.
Word?
Titties out. On the ground.
Can we see this?
On the ground. Well, I mean, you might be able to find a censored version, which like we couldn't. I think you can find an already. I think you can find an already. Just for us. We can find. Titties out.
Wait, who is this? This is the princess?
Yeah, at the time. She ain't no more, funnily enough. But
what's the name?
Srirasmi. Srirasmi. Anyway.
That looks like what you start off with at Wheel of Fortune.
Just like most of my searches, the name and then naked.
Yeah, wearing nothing but a G-string, titties out, feeding this dog cake, getting down on the floor, crawling around with him and all this stuff, just acting wild. The crown prince is there. Clearly all hits for him.
Right.
This went viral, and so you can see her up there on the top left. That's from the video over to the left of what you're showing now, Russ. That does hit, but right in the middle. That's right. See that video? I see her down on the ground eating the cake and all this shit with the dog. I think she ate out of a dog bowl, all this stuff.
That's cool.
Just, party girling it up. Yeah. It's like, that's what happens when you put a crown on a thought. You know what I mean?
You cannot turn a hoe into a housewife.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Professor Ludacris.
Ludacris has been saying
tried to tell us that years ago because hoes don't act right.
Mm-mm. You got hoes on the...
Something and hoes on the crack pipe.
Yeah. Anyways, more about Professor...
You should try to make a version of that song, but for Chose. Or
That's
maybe
true.
I should. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
A lot of the lines probably wouldn't even change.
You have to change it all.
Chose don't act right.
No, they don't.
Anyway, so this became a big scandal over there, kind of, but also they got straight up laws that say you ain't allowed to talk shit about these motherfuckers. Right. Or, they'll throw you out a window. Right. Shove bamboo shoots up your fingernails or whatever.
There's no freedom of press.
They don't roll like that.
Yeah, right.
Not a lot of satire going on.
No. So, that part was kind of weird for me because it's literally people are not allowed to say anything about it, but at the same time, this was a big deal.
Right.
Right. But it made Fufu hot shit. Fufu's star rose from that. A few months later, U.S. ambassador to Thailand attended a gala dinner in honor of the crown prince, at which Fufu appeared dressed in formal evening attire, complete with palm mitts. And then the ambassador,
white gloves.
Yeah, and then the ambassador came back and reported that Fufu had since been promoted to the rank of Air Chief Marshal in the Royal Thai Air Force. Apparently at this gala, he jumped up on the table and began walking around drinking from everybody's champagne glasses and shit.
I love to think of him like at the end of the table, like he's done eating and he just got his legs up and they're just expressing his anal glands right in the middle of everybody having a fucking raspberry tart.
Yum.
Yeah, buddy. So he became, the talk of the town. He hit real hard for everybody. Her ass didn't, but he did. And I was like, Fufu didn't have his titties out. Goddamn.
Right.
But so, and then finally, he lived to be like 16 or 17 and died in 2015. And after he died, it was followed by 4 days of Buddhist funeral rites. And then the dog's cremation, images from which were shared widely across social media in Thailand, and the whole nation mourned the loss of Air Chief Marshall Fufu the Poodle of Thailand.
Where are his ashes right now?
I don't know.
I just like to I assume that they have like a shrine of it.
Yeah,
you know
right
what
here.
I mean?
Check it out.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Look at him.
But now, Vajira Longhorn there.
That looks like a Walmart security cop, not the other picture that you had. Severa Longhorn, go ahead. Longhorn.
He's just like, he's decaying now and all that, but like, he was a wild motherfucker for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, he partied it up as but it's like, dude, if you're crown prince,
Dude, that's the deal.
Go in.
Don't not.
What else you gonna do? You're wasting it if you don't.
I was about to say, I genuinely feel like it's offensive to people if you don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, either way, it's offensive. But like, that's the reason. Like, as a comedian, I'm allowed to do certain things that the general public aren't. Like, wear wigs, make funny videos, wear sweatpants to work, be hammered on the job all the time. And I feel like if I don't do any of those things, that it's disrespectful to those who wish that they could do that.
Sure. I
You know
totally
what I mean?
agree.
I would have been a great prince.
So yeah, I thought that
For sure.
Fufu there, fit this show pretty well.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
fancy
Oh, God,
poodle.
yes.
I thought you guys would appreciate
We need to
learning
get
of
a
his
little-
legacy.
We need to get a little stuffed Fufu to go here with Princeton Fitzgerald Pumpernickel IV,
Yeah.
which if you're tuning in for the first time is our mascot.
That's the squirrel there.
Yeah.
The fall squirrel.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that it is the 25th anniversary of Harry Potter, which frankly makes me feel old as fuck. Does it not to you?
Kind of, but also like I remember I felt like if I'm not mistaken, pretty much when Harry Potter came out, in the first book, I was pretty much the same age as he was. And obviously the books didn't come out year by year, but I sort of felt like I grew up with Harry Potter.
Well, yeah, but
you know what I mean? But I'm saying, and he was 10 in the first book. So
Yeah,
25
right.
sounds right to me because I'm 36
Oh, it
is what I'm
sounds
saying.
right, but I still don't feel like I was 10, 25 goddamn years ago.
I don't know. I kind of do.
Well, you had a rough childhood, Trey. I didn't. Have you ever thought about
Things
that?
hit for me.
Yeah. Have you ever
But now
considered
they
that from
don't.
my perspective?
I know it's hard for you. You're right. I should take that into consideration more often.
Yeah, I don't
do
have these
think
fucking cool stories like you do.
whenever people are just the whole thing that everybody's heard a million times about how we are farther removed from the 90s now than they were removed from the 70s when that 70s show came out.
Yeah.
That type of shit, I'm always like, fuck, dude. In my head, without thinking about it, in my head, 10 years ago was 9/11 or something.
Me too.
10 years ago was the early 2000s. It's no, that was 20 plus years ago.
I saw another one the other day because the 70s show one is the one you see the most. If that 70s show was made today, it would be about 1990, whatever the fuck. I saw one the other day that kind of is even crazier to me. If Dazed and Confused came out right now, it would be about the graduating class of 2005.
What?
2005, because that movie was made in the early 90s about the graduating class of 1977.
That's the year after I graduated.
I know.
The year after I
know.
graduated.
So that fucks you up, don't it?
I hadn't heard that one. That shit is
but it's wild
wild
because in my mind it's wait, when Dazed and Confused came out, did normal people not think this is about a bygone era? You know what I mean? Because
well, we watched it when we were younger.
We did.
And it seemed like ancient history to us. Dude, if kids watch something set in 2005
I
right
know.
now, they would be like, look at this shit. Where is that stuff, by the way? Shouldn't that be coming?
It should, but
those shows and those movies, but for when we were in high school.
So Jonah Hill had the 90s.
there was 9/11. There was a bunch of shit going on.
Jonah Hill had the 90s, movie that he did, and I do feel we've talked.
Yeah, but I don't mean the 90s.
No, I know.
I'm talking about the aughts, the early.
No,
aughts.
I mean it's coming. Is what I'm saying. We're right now in the late 90s because to me. well, not to me, I think this is true. It's like the reason that the 70s were so popular in the 90s is because the people who were born in the 70s were making shit in the 90s. And everyone, no matter what it is, like everything you write is autobiographical, nostalgia.
People who came up in the 70s.
People who came up in the 70s. So like you always want to write about what you know, and your childhood is your inspiration for a lot of things. Just like in the 2010s and stuff, there was 80s were making a comeback. Like the Weeknd style music was like very 80s driven and stuff, because those people, the people who came up in the 80s, were then making the stuff. So like to your point, we're around the corner from it, of that happening. Like,
well, I mean, I look forward to it.
Like, so She-Hulk is apparently supposed to be like an Ally McBeal style show, and like Ally McBeal and stuff like that.
Set in the past?
Like, no, but it's inspired. It's stylistically and inspired by that, because probably the person who's making this show, that's when they came up. You know what I mean? So like, no, I mean, we're right around that time, and but again, like the 70s, and I know this is just me, but the 70s feels like such you can put your finger on what that was. I don't know that the 2000, the mid aughts have that.
I think they do.
To me, you know what I mean?
One thing, and we talked about this on other shows before, but like just one thing in particular off the top of my head is like, dude, that was far and away the broiest era in the history of America.
That's true.
Dude. That was the beginning of the uprising of the UFC, fucking Monster Energy drinks, Affliction t-shirts.
Right.
Dane Cook, who hits for me, was the biggest comic on earth. Nickelback was the biggest band on earth. Spike TV was popping and shit.
Dude, yeah.
Like, it was bro the fuck out, and I was there for it. By the way, backwards cap, chin strap played.
Did play.
I was super broy.
Well, then I
the whole
wanted to come
goddamn
back.
world was broy, you know.
But dude, that bro style it actually is coming back. Like if you watch any Instagram videos of like male, I hate this term, but like content creators or what. Like I follow a lot of golf dudes. And like they're younger, they're like 18 and 19, and like they've adapted this phrase like "let's go" is like they got it from Tom Brady, but they start every video with like "let's go." Like we're the 3 club challenge, let's go, you know, and like
truly like revolutionary.
I know.
What a brilliant revolutionary idea!
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Have they trademarked it?
Yeah, he has.
No shit.
He has a podcast, LFG, Let's Fucking Go, and he's trademarked that and Let's Go or whatever.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, right. But like my point is,
I mean,
like,
good for him.
My point is like the dude perfect type stuff is really coming back to like average people, and like I've noticed things getting a lot more broy on the internet. You know what I mean? Like a lot of dude, whatever, and again, I'm here for it. Like when I watch those videos, some of them seem like try-hardy or whatever, but I'm like, yeah, but like I grew up broy. Like I broed out. Like me and my bros like to go to the
necklaces,
gym.
dog.
Puka shell necklaces are coming back. Which you wore them?
Everything comes back.
You wore puka shells?
Yeah, I had some, yeah.
Oh, dude, I did too, and I've been made fun of so hard for it.
Well, we deserve it.
No, they had. Are they racist? Because somebody told me that one time.
Many things are racist.
I posted a picture of me on Easter with my grandmother, and I was wearing like a pink Ralph Lauren shirt that matched her blouse. We were doing pictures, and I had a puka shell necklace on.
I don't know if I had like literally the puka shell, but like this equivalent where like the sort of like hemper's got a shark tooth looking thing on it. Like
it's appropriation.
Those types of things. Yeah, I definitely. Oh, we forgot like barbed wire and tribal band tattoos.
Right.
Fucking massive.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, it was a bro-y
You
time.
said energy drinks, right?
I did, yeah.
So, anyways, Harry Potter. It's the 25th anniversary of Harry Potter. I don't know, like, were you into Harry Potter immediately? Like when the books came out?
Yeah.
Okay, because see,
I read them like as they came out and was fucking obsessed with them.
So I missed it. Like I just missed that, and then Harry Potter had been out for a while, and like I know that you're like this, like me in this way that like when something is a massive thing but you miss it, and then all you do is hear about it forever,
it starts to feel like an obligation.
It starts to feel like an obligation. And you're like, well, that just don't hit for me. And it was also one of those things where like it hit for everyone. And I was one of those people for a very long time that was like, I don't like things that everyone likes. That's not me.
Yeah.
And again, that was stupid. But
yeah, because oftentimes things that everybody likes, they hit real hard.
It's because
that's why everybody likes it.
Dude, it's the 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong theory. It's like, and sometimes that is correct. Like obviously, like Twilight will never hit for me regardless.
I know, but I feel like what we're Harry Potter and shit like that is on a whole nother
for
level.
Sure. Then
Twilight was a cultural phenomenon, but not it didn't hit for everybody.
Right.
It wasn't like
and it hasn't stuck around.
All the bros and shit weren't like, this is what's up.
Right. Exactly.
Whereas like Harry Potter it just every type of person
for
fucked
sure
with Harry Potter.
Yeah, right. Harry Potter is in a league with the Game of Thrones and with which I mean even more.
Even more so. Did you know? I know you know because I've told you this, but I've never said it on the podcast. I might be leaving one person out. There might be 4, maybe. But I think the only 3 people, and the third one is wild to me, the only 3 people who have ever become billionaires based solely on an IP that they created themselves.
George Lucas.
Yes.
J.K. Rowling and the Minecraft guy.
Yeah. I mean, you know that because we've talked about it before.
Yeah, but dude, me remembering something is impressive. Don't you fucking see? All knowing something is remembering it.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
You remembered it.
You goddamn right.
Yeah. But it blew my mind finding out that the Minecraft guy was the third one. I mean, it checks out. It
checks out completely.
Fucking every kid in elementary school for the last 20 years or whatever has been fucking with Minecraft on the heavy. So,
right.
But yeah, J.K. Rowling, George Lucas are the other 2.
Well,
so I mean, that's like, dude, it's fucking.
It's a different
level. Whole nother level.
And like, it's also one of those things where like, Harry Potter is just as famous now for not the books or the movies as it was any of those things. Like, it's got its own theme park. Like, there's a clothing line. There's cookbooks and shit like that. Like, yeah, Twilight is like, it was some popular movies. But it doesn't, like... There's people whose entire lives are just Harry Potter. Like, there's some people that, like, you can just be a fan of Harry Potter, and there is enough, quote, content out there to fill every single hour of your day, whether it be rewatching the movie, listening to Harry Potter podcasts, going to the theme park, reading Harry Potter fan fiction, staying on the Harry Potter subreddit for hours on end, taking the myriad of Harry Potter sorting quizzes that are on the fucking internet, which I'm sure that you have done that before, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Which house were you in?
I mean, you know,
Gryffindor. Yeah.
You know. Let me fifth. What about you? I always said you was a Hufflepuff. That's what I thought.
That's what I got sorted into. Every time except for I've taken
Hufflepuff's his.
I don't even know really what they are. Like, so you can tell me in a second, but I've taken probably 10 Harry Potter sorting quizzes, and like 7 times I was in Hufflepuff, once I was in Gryffindor, once I was in Ravenclaw, and once I was in Slytherin.
I definitely think you can make an argument for Ravenclaw for me too, for sure.
Ravenclaw's my favorite of the houses as far as like design and stuff. Like all the Harry Potter clothes I have are from the Ravenclaw house. I like the colors. You know, like I don't really look great in red and yellow. It sort of washes me out.
One thing I always thought that it could have done a little bit better was like, why do they even still have Slytherin if they're just objectively like, full-time evil all the time? Like, they could have had some nuance to that where it's like, it seems like most of the shitheads end up in Slytherin, but like, not everybody that's in Slytherin is a fucking psychopath or whatever.
Nuance
but
was
they
Snape.
Didn't. Right, yeah.
A little bit. But he's only one, and he's kind of the exception that proves the rule.
But just
like,
generally speaking, they're like,
you're in
they're
Slytherin,
all bad all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like that could have been done a little bit better. Not that I have any right criticizing anything about Harry Potter, but
no, I mean I agree with you fully, but also on that end, it's like there's all these houses, but we only ever hear about Gryffindor and Slytherin.
Right.
Like I don't know. Like I would say that most people, even that consider themselves pretty big Harry Potter fans, like not fanatics or whatever, but like I'm a real fucking big Harry Potter fan, but you have to go out of your way and read stuff that wasn't really in the books or the movies to find out what exactly Hufflepuff was. Like, they don't fucking, like, really... There's, like... And there's Hufflepuff. You know what I'm saying? And there's Ravenclaw. They don't really, like, go into it too much. But, like I said, I didn't get into it when everybody else did. I got into it when I was in my fucking mid-20s, which is a weird time to get into Harry Potter. But, like, I had dated 2 separate girls... both that loved Harry Potter, and the first one was always like, you gotta watch Harry Potter, you gotta watch Harry Potter, and like the way that she was, how do I put this? There's just no way that what she liked hit. You know what I'm saying? There's just
yeah, dude. Of
there's
course,
just
I know
no
what you're
fucking
saying.
there's just no fucking way.
Everybody knows somebody. I think who it's like if something hits for them, it don't hit.
Yeah, right. Well, she was very much that, and so I was like, and also that was at a time in my life where like I was super into craft beers and like I'm only listening to vinyl and like that's childish shit. Fuck all that. And then I start dating this other girl immediately after her, and she's super into Harry Potter, and so is her mom, and so is her dad, and like they have like Harry Potter nights and shit. And so I wasn't going to be able to avoid this one. Like this was a fundamental part of her existence. This was a big part of who she was. So if I liked her, I was going to have to at least fake liking Harry Potter. And we watched the first movie, and frankly, I enjoyed it, but like the first movie, as you said, you grow with them. You know what I mean? It is more for kids, but I was entertaining and it was whimsical, and I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, I do just like hearing those accents, so this will be fine. Then I watched the second one, and I'm like, okay, all right, holy fuck. Then I get to the third one, which is arguably the best one, definitely my favorite. When my main man Gary Oldman shows up to play Sirius, and I'm fucking enthralled, and it became my shit. And I would venture to say that I then annoyed them with how much I wanted to fuck with Harry Potter. Like I watched them all like 10 times in a row, like immediately.
I'm trying to put you on Front Street or nothing. I'm just clarifying that. So it's based entirely on the movies for you?
Yeah, but I've and I haven't read all the books. I've read the first 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But no, my entree into them.
Like I was reading them as a kid, like before the movies even started coming out. Of course, the movies started coming out before the book series was finished. Obviously.
Well, no, it's based on the movies for me because, like, again, I wasn't even like you couldn't have sold me at that point, especially on reading the books. Like that's a huge commitment. But like, I'll watch a fucking 2-hour movie. You know what I mean? I've since gone back and read the first 3 books, which super slapped for me. It's just this about me, and it's very weird. I can't fuck with fiction too much. Book wise, movie, I prefer fiction. I would rather all of it be fiction, but like book wise, I'm more of like a nonfiction, biographical, whatever. But like, no, it was the movies. But like now, dude, like I fucking love Harry Potter so much, like to the point that it's embarrassing. Like when we went to Harry Potter World, me and Amber, she got mad at me because I spent $600 on merch. Like fucking trading cards, gym shorts, sweatshirts. I got a fucking wand. You know what I mean? So like, it's just, it is one of those things that like, it's, I guess, nerdy, but like, goddamn, how can you not love it?
No, I agree.
And is it fancy?
I mean, it feels, dude, Hogwarts is fancy as fuck. It's a goddamn magical castle.
Right.
In the fucking like mist-covered mountains and shit. Like, Hogwarts is without a doubt fancy. I mean, a lot of those wizards are like the elite.
Did it ever?
You know what I mean? So like, but then you got
Slytherin's fancy as fuck.
Then you got your trash in there. You got your mudbloods and stuff.
Which is what you'd have been.
Absolutely. They let the trash in every now and then, and the trash don't hit for a lot of the other kids on account of how fancy they are. And trash don't hit for fancy people, even in the wizarding world.
You brought up like, I feel like they could have been some more nuance to Slytherin, and I agree with you. My main problem with Harry Potter, and the thing that always pokes too many holes in it for me, is like why it matters that the Weasleys are poor when like
they just magic up whatever like, that hits when you need.
Yeah, right. Whenever they go to that Quidditch match or whatever, which is like the World Cup, which I love that scene. It's great. But like Mr. Weasley just makes a tent out of magic for them to stay in.
Like, just do that with a house.
Just do that with everything. Like you can do that. He makes apples and stuff like this. Like money it doesn't matter.
Dude, I mean, the thing you almost kind of have to just like get over with those books and movies is that like when you're talking about magic, there's so many things like that don't make sense. Like as soon as they introduce the time turner or whatever, it's like, why don't they just always use that? You know what I mean? But it just sort of be like that.
So is that your least favorite movie? Because I know that you don't like time stuff. Because that's my favorite.
No, it's not my least favorite movie.
It's my favorite. And you know what's crazy? Do you know what that movie has different than all the other movies? It's the only movie and it's the only book that doesn't have Voldemort in it.
Oh, all right.
At all. Like and that's so bold, I feel like, for especially the movie. I understand it's like J.K. Rowling's like, well, I've got 2 hits under here. I can do whatever I want. But like Voldemort having that big bad for your first 2 movies, and then in the 3rd movie being like, he just won't be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's fucking crazy.
I think also she probably felt like there was a thing of like, how many times can he like be
Best
here,
ever.
get defeated, and then like doesn't show back up?
Right.
Like at least a few more, because it ain't the end of the story yet. But I get backing off from that for a minute. We do need to move on. I know, because I know otherwise we could sit here and talk about Harry Potter for another
Can we
hour
one
and a
day
half.
later?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I tell you what, it may be fall and football weather out there, but you can still heat it up in the bedroom, get you weenie out, get to rocking with our good friends over at BlueChew. Guys, confidence can take you far in life, especially when it comes time to getting down in the bedroom. And if you can benefit from extra confidence in the wiener area, then you just need to check out our friends at BlueChew. Trae, tell them all about it.
BlueChew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost, both things which hit harder. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises, a wiener opportunity. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers. Once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part about it, y'all do it all online, on the internet there. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations. You don't have to go to the pharmacy and stand in line with your high school principal and all that shit. No, BlueChew's tablets are made right here in the U.S. of A., prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. Cho, tell them what BlueChew's done for you in your life.
Well, it's made my wife appreciate more than just my cooking. You know what I'm saying? First time I ever used BlueChew, my wife accused me of using a stunt cock in our bedroom. But it's not. It's just your wiener. When you're on BlueChew, we get so excited when we see that little white envelope. It is just a wonderful experience. And if you would like to experience what I'm experiencing or what my wife's experiencing in the bedroom, all you got to do is head over to BlueChew. Go to BlueChew.com /POA, or excuse me, BlueChew.com, promo code POA, and you will get to try this stuff for free. All you got to do is pay $5 shipping, and that's $5, by the way, for the hardest wiener you've ever had. Just $5 shipping. Go to BlueChew.com, use that promo code POA, and we thank BlueChew for sponsoring this podcast. Skew.
But I want to get to the subjects, and mine, the state of Florida. A lot of fancy people, a lot of trash people. 21 of the richest people in America live in Florida, a particular part of Florida. Which one do you think?
That where rich people live?
Yeah.
Miami.
Yeah, South Florida.
South Florida, yeah. Miami, the
Palm
Keys,
Beach, West Palm Beach, the
Beach.
Keys. Ate up with rich people. And then the trash part primarily is
Panama City or the
north,
yeah,
the north part
Panhandle.
and the Panhandle.
Yeah, right.
Right, which again, I think pretty much everybody knows that.
Yeah,
that has
right.
any experience with Florida. There's a very popular,
And
there's
there
a
is
cliche.
trash and there's fancy in both areas,
places.
but
like in Jacksonville, which is in the north part, they got Ponte Vedra or whatever, which is like a sort of fancy place.
Yeah.
But like,
dude,
so sure
but
they
Jacksonville's one of the most red ass.
Absolutely, dog.
Yeah.
But like, there's a cliche about Florida. It goes, in Florida, the further south you go, the further north you get.
Exactly.
And that's very much our experience
Tim
with
Wilson used to say, once you get past Gainesville, you're back in Michigan.
Right. And so because he said that because of how many people moved down there.
Yeah.
Is that the whole thing?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right. And that's the thing they do. It's a state of transplants. A lot of people moved there. A lot of rich people moved there. They mostly moved there from the northeast. Like, Vermont, New York, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Connecticut.
Because it's warm.
Exactly. That's a huge part of it. It's warm. There's beaches. It's nice. They ain't got none of that shit up there, and the fucking tired of shoveling snow all the goddamn time. But also, there's no state income tax.
Yes.
And if you're talking about, New York or whatever, the cost of living is cheaper, even in Miami as compared to New York.
You know who else all lives in Florida for that reason?
The Jews?
Well, yeah. I just thought that you were meant the Jews, and we just weren't saying it.
Yeah.
I know what rich people that live in Florida is, Trae. God damn. Like, I can't do Sudoku like you, but I can figure out a little bit. No, wrestlers. Like 99% of wrestlers live in Florida.
Well, that checks out to me.
For all reasons.
And for all, it's just something, pro wrestling, that should be like the official state sport of Florida is pro wrestling.
But like really successful pro wrestlers fit the mold of both of these things that you're talking about because like wrestling is inherently trashy, but if you've got a huge WWE contract, you're also rich and have a mansion and shit, but they live in Florida because A, there used to be a lot of wrestling that went on in Florida, but B, no fucking income tax.
What you know much about, like, I'm interested what the mansion of a super hitting pro wrestler would look like. Do they like is it do they trash it up? Is it over the top and wild because that's how wrestlers are? Or is it like, you know, classy, tasteful, like any rich person's mansion?
You know,
because I would be a little disappointed if that was the case. I want to see fucking, you know, bear rugs and a bunch of wild shit.
I'm sure there's a little bit of that. Like, I can't speak to any of them. I mean, eventually I will go to my friend Dave Bautista's house and I can probably speak to it.
He definitely, I was going to say he's different. He's on a whole nother level because he's a movie
star. Oh, he's not
too.
trashy at all.
I know, but I just mean like that's just a pro wrestler,
right?
But a one that hits.
Well, the thing
like,
is,
how do they live?
Well, the thing is, though, it's like in order to be one of the hittingest pro wrestlers, you end up like Hulk Hogan also was in movies.
They
like,
transcend.
They transcend, right? And like a wrestler that doesn't transcend isn't going to be as mansion level for a while because like their money's only going to last as long as their body lasts, which ain't fucking long. So like in order to be one of these people, you would have had to transcend. So like, I don't know, man, like I'm sure that fucking Ricky Morton back when the Rock and Roll Express were super popular probably had a mansion and it was basically like 17 trailers put into one house. You know what I mean? If I had to guess.
Oh, also another reason that they moved to South Florida that we didn't yet mention is all the butts and cocaine.
Oh, right. Butts and cocaine.
Butts and cocaine, huge contributing factor to why people moved to South Florida. Where are you at on like Miami?
So I went to Miami when I was a kid because my sister was doing some cheerleading something. And now I was like,
or just even, you know, we've done shows in Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and
I'm not a huge fan.
Hollywood, Florida.
I'm not a huge fan because like, so to me, Miami was like if Atlanta had a beach, which is like all well and good, but like I'm not into like Gucci type shopping and stuff like that. And when I go to a beach, I actually genuinely prefer it to be a borderline shanty town. Like when I go to the beach, I want.
What about the butts though? Obviously the butts.
No, the butts is fine too. I mean, I like the butts part.
You're gonna get better butts at a Miami beach than a
But like I'm too
shanty town.
But
beach.
I'm not. But I can't have none of the butts.
Sure, I'm not there for the butts.
If
anymore.
I was young and could
butts are. I'm glad the butts are out there doing it still.
I like a Panama City butt.
Panama City
butts. You know what I mean?
Right down my alley.
Some stretch marks, a Tasmanian devil tattoo. That's the butt I'm here for.
A little bit of cellulite on there.
Just a little bit. Those Miami butts, like I'm seeing them in the magazines. I don't really give a shit. But like when my perfect Florida is like, you know, a beach that not many people are on, and there's like an oyster shack, and there's like you know, a place you go get frozen drinks, and the lady looks like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
I've never been to Key West, but you have. How fancy is Key West? Is it super fancy? Or is it more like
it's not super?
You know, like Jimmy Buffett type shit.
It's that. I mean, it has a Spanish feel to it. You know what I'm saying? Like in Cuban feel or whatever. And so, like to the untrained eye, you know, when you're hearing all that. Yeah, la cucaracha, all that. You're like, oh, this is, you know, and like people are wearing like white leisure suits and shit like that. But at the same time, it's very casual. A lot of fried conch going on. Like it's not like Miami in the sense of like when you're in Key West. Don't get me wrong. You have to assume that everybody lives here has money, but they don't act like they have money the same way that people in Miami do. Like in Miami, it's fucking, I mean, Miami Vice. Like that is what it is. Like they're flaunting their wealth. We're going to the Gucci store. We're doing this. In Key West, it's like, yeah, we got money, but like these simple things in life are what really cost, you know?
They talk like that down there?
No, I was being...
Sure, some of them do.
Yeah,
probably.
Of course. Yeah. That's not Cuba?
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
But I know there's Cubans there, but I was just like, damn, is that like, you know, everybody in Key West have that accent?
No,
that'd be wild.
No, hell no. A lot of gays, white, just regular gay white people.
Regular gay white people? Yeah. Florida hits for them.
Oh, dude, so much. Key West
Gays love Florida.
Yeah,
South Florida.
Gays love Key West too, buddy.
Yeah. So, all right, listen. We're talking about the trash part of Florida. what else are we supposed to talk about than fucking Florida Man and Skinnerd, right? So I thought, we'd go through some of these Florida Man headlines. Florida Man wears fuck the police shirt to court, wins case.
Lit.
Not all heroes wear capes, buddy.
Number 2 is great.
Florida man attacked during selfie with squirrel.
Nice.
Look at that. Oh, check this squirrel out. And then that heartless, soulless motherfucker tries to rip his throat out for nothing.
No,
just for taking a picture with it.
I guarantee you.
Defended himself from what?
His children were around.
To take a picture?
His children were around. And
He
he's
don't
like
know
this
shit about his children.
He's like this beast. That guy's being a little soccer floppy right there, in my opinion.
Dude, squirrels, squirrels can love throwing you them hands.
That's what I'm
love
saying.
Whipping your ass. But yeah, and then number 3, Florida man in "No, seriously, I have drugs" t-shirt arrested for possession of drugs.
Oh,
What's he gonna do? Stab me?
Look at that.
That's fucking
Who needs
great.
drugs? No, seriously, I have drugs. And then the cops are like, "You have drugs?"
Do you think that people wear things like that because they're like, see, if I wear this, the cops will think, surely I don't have drugs, because who that has drugs would wear this shirt?
Yeah.
You know
it's
what I
just
mean?
stupid enough to work.
Now, though, did they, did they have other reasons to believe that he had drugs aside from his shirt? Or is that probable?
Did you see the picture of him?
Oh, right. But I'm saying legally, do you think
That's a man who has drugs.
But legally, do you think that's probable cause?
Yes.
Like that's
Yeah,
a declarative
probably.
statement? Because
Probably.
if you said out loud,
especially, dude, the way cops work. They'll
Well,
fucking,
yeah.
I don't
they'll
even
twist-
think he needs the shirt.
Yeah, dude, they'll
No,
twist
but I'm
anything
saying
to be improbable cause.
Well, I know that, but like, I mean, legally, like they'll do stuff that's illegal and then just say that, oh, we did it for this reason. But like, if you said out loud, "Hey, I have drugs," in my opinion, I'd be like, well, I can't be mad if a cop searches him for drugs. He just said it. Well, that's the same thing. So I guess.
No, dude, I bet.
Fuck the cops, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, you ought not wear a shirt
No,
that
that's
says you have
stupid.
drugs if you have drugs.
That's
you know?
stupid. Or if you don't have drugs.
All right. Florida man suspected of using private plane to draw giant radar penis. Look at that.
Sick.
Dude, again.
That's great.
Why not? Well, if you got the means, you got to hit.
And
Like,
so-
what better way to hit than to draw an air dick?
His idea was like, I'm gonna do this, and then on the radar they'll be like, look at that dick.
Yeah.
That's
and
fucking
that's
great.
what happened.
Yeah.
Pulled it off, baby.
That's follow through.
Yeah.
It's so wild that you can be talented enough to do that and want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, how hard do you think it is?
That's
to
gotta be
like,
hard.
Gotta be hard, right?
I mean, I don't know nothing about.
No pun intended.
I'm plain dumb, so like maybe part of what goes into flying a plane is like with the instruments and shit they have. You like, it might be easier than I think
just
it is.
set it
to
to
just
the
set it
pattern.
like navigationally, you can like do that.
For them, it is.
But if you're like, freehanding an air
a dick,
dick
that's pretty
with
crazy.
your plane,
Yeah.
that's some serious talent right there.
Yeah, because
buddy.
like the thing is like anyone can get it started. You know what I mean? You go straight and then you curve and then you come back down, but knowing where
Well,
to.
it kind of looks like he fucked up one up there in the top right. It's like there's a.
Well, he had to come in from that way.
I was gonna say, did he exit from here like jizz?
The hard part is getting the crease between the two balls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now I don't know how much space that is, but like that's pretty. Now the only thing that our hero here, Florida Man, didn't do right is that he should have then come back up on the side of the shaft, gone up to the top of the penis, and then hit it with the little squiggly coming out.
I feel
the
like
top.
this might be it right here almost.
Yeah, it's
that
just
line
straight
coming
for
out? Yeah.
cum.
Yeah, Cho's looking for
It's
some
a-
more
yeah, yeah.
squiggle
Squiggle,
action.
yeah,
true.
some more squiggles or ball hairs.
That'd
You know
be-
what I mean?
that'd be
Like
hard.
come
That'd be
out.
real hard, I
That would
think.
be
That'd be hard.
insanely
You don't-
hard.
Yeah, I don't even know how you go about that. Well, listen, we shouldn't criticize the guy too
No,
much. I think he
good
did a
job.
tremendous job
I
overall.
agree.
All right, Florida man charged with assault with a deadly weapon after throwing alligator through Wendy's drive-through window.
How big was the alligator?
I mean, big enough to fit through a drive. You know, it couldn't have been too much bigger.
Right.
It got it in there, but yeah, you talk about surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
Like even in Florida, fucking getting an alligator thrown at you. That also sounds like just something we would make up. But
Yeah,
you know,
right.
down there in Florida, fucking throwing alligators through windows and shit. But they are.
Do you think?
They are
Do you
doing
think-
that.
Do you think that there's two possible scenarios here to throwing an alligator through a Wendy's drive-thru. All right, either
Just two, huh?
two that I can think of. Two that I can think of. So either this man woke up and was like, today I'm going to throw an alligator through a Wendy's drive-thru, right?
Mhm.
Because it seems like you'd have to at least have your alligator with you. You know what I mean? Or second scenario, this guy always has his alligator with him and got pissed off at the Wendy's.
Right.
And then when they told him to move to the second window, he was like, I'll tell you what, and just threw the fucking
Get
alligator.
him, Toothy.
Yeah. Which one do you think it was? Do you think it was a crime of passion or
bet-
a premeditated? First degree alligator or second degree alligator?
I for whatever reason, I think it was a crime of passion. I think that's his alligator.
Yeah.
He'd keep his alligator with him all the time. Like, I doubt he went out and procured an alligator.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, had the plan, I'm going to throw it. Now I got to find an
Because
alligator.
if it's not your
that
alligator,
hard
because
in
if it's
Florida.
not your alligator, it'll probably attack you.
They're just
clearly.
I know, right?
Clearly, this alligator trusts him.
Right. But dude, they know how to handle them though.
They do.
Alligators. But so yeah, I bet it's his alligator. This is his own pet gator. I bet you Wendy said something didn't hit for him.
It's like a
He
boomerang.
sicked him on her.
Toothy.
Toothy, old Toothy. I'm skipping a couple here, Russ. Florida man gets tired of waiting at hospital, steals ambulance, drives home. That dude hits for me.
That dude's great.
Because fuck all that. They make you wait too goddamn long. He's right.
What was he in for, you
Fuck
think?
this, I'm out of here. I couldn't have been anything too emergency-ish.
Right, because he was
They
able to
wouldn't have
drive
to do that.
home.
Yeah, right. Yeah. it's
I
just-
love that he didn't just like call an Uber.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Which I know a lot of people are going to be like, that's classist, Corey. A lot of people can't afford Ubers. It's like, well, this ends up costing him a lot more,
Right.
you know, in like fines and like charges of grand theft.
It's also just fun because you know in his mind he's like, well, they shouldn't have made me wait so
Goddamn
goddamn long.
right.
Like the judge is gonna be like, damn, you're right. They shouldn't have made you wait
Right,
so goddamn long.
Right. He was also probably doped up on Dilaudid and shit.
Sure.
And like everybody knows this. Whenever you're on a lot of like pills, you want to steal a car. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
if it could be an ambulance or a cop car, that's just a plus.
Florida man tries to rob GameStop while wearing transparent bag on his head.
Well, he just can't breathe.
Yeah, he just can't breathe for no reason. So they can watch him gasp for air and fall out.
I always thought it was insane when they wore the pantyhose because you could still kind of tell who the fuck they were. But like a transparent bag is just another. Like, dude, that's a grainy video. And I could still pick that guy out.
yeah.
Like, if that guy walked up to this door, I'd be like, was that you at the fucking GameStop, man?
He's just like, I'm doing a spaceman thing. That's what I'm doing. Like to
Also,
role play a
dude,
little bit.
you can rob, if you're robbing, you can rob anywhere.
So-
Why would you rob a GameStop?
So we need
He
to
was
get
trying
to
to steal stocks.
we need to get to Professor Cho. So I want this to be the last one, but this you've got to see this one. So Florida man apparently painting anti-Hillary messages on Tampa Bay crabs. And look at this crab. Look at this crab. There's a crab that says Hillary is a lying bitch.
Country crab!
Country crab. He found country crab, y'all. Hell yeah, he painted that on himself. He knows where he stands. Fucking imagine painting Hillary as a lying bitch on a crab and then throwing it back. Like
More like drawn butter emails.
it's funny to think that like in this dude's head. Well, no, I guess he doesn't have to necessarily be trying to own the libs. Because I feel like he'd be like, ain't no liberal queers crabbing. You know what I mean? Only another real man's going to catch this crab. But I want him to know that, you know, we're out here. You know what I mean? Like in his mind, the dude that pulls that crab up is going to be like, God damn right.
Yeah, damn it.
And I mean, that very possibly
It probably-
is exactly how it went.
Good
Dude, here's
percentage.
the thing. I mean, I'm not.
Hillary is a lying bitch.
I'm not-
written on a live crab, dude.
I'm not the type that message is for, but I'm here to tell you.
I would laugh. I'd laugh
I would
until I
die.
vomited.
Yeah.
If I actually,
I wouldn't eat it
found
either. It'd be
that
a pet.
crab. Like, no, dude. That's the thing. Like, everybody
Like,
makes
sincerely,
fun.
imagine finding that shit.
Everybody makes fun of Florida. We make fun of Florida all the time, but I have a genuine, huge amount of appreciation
love
for
it.
Florida.
I love it.
I'm a big fan of the way they are because, like, and also, dude, you spend any time in Florida, like, They own it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Florida is so fucking Florida.
They know what they're
I
about.
have never been to Florida and not felt very much like I was in Florida the entire time I was there.
Bro, they know what they're about, son.
Absolutely.
100%.
Gators and meth, baby.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so yeah, that's it for the state of Florida. Again, we could do fucking multiple eps on just Florida man, but we must move on to history with Professor Cho on the subject of, what was it?
King Solomon, love.
King Solomon, right after this.
All right.
You good to keep going? Yeah, let's do it.
This episode is brought to you by CarShield, who makes it easy and affordable to protect my car from expensive repairs. And that's just for starters. CarShield is the #1 auto protection company in the U.S. and offers protection plans for around $100 a month. The plans cover more parts than ever before, whether your car has 5,000 miles or, like mine, 150,000 miles.
Let us tell you just how simple it is to get your car fixed. When you need a repair, you choose the mechanic. We've all got our guy, right? You choose the mechanic you like, and CarShield's administrators handle the rest. That's it. That's the whole thing. You don't have to deal with the paperwork or headaches. You're completely taken care of. The same goes if your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road. Plans through CarShield also include coast-to-coast roadside assistance.
That's right. CarShield administrators are there for you with rental car options and trip reimbursement at no extra cost. Get coverage today, and you'll lock in your price now, and it will never go up. That means as long as you own your car, no matter how old it is, you're protected from the rising cost of parts and repairs for your vehicle.
Guys, CarShield helps protect our wallets from expensive car repairs, and they'll do the same for you. Go to carshield.com/podcast. to start your plan and lock in your pricing forever. That's carshield.com/podcast. A deductible may apply.
Hey, real quick, want to give a shout out to James up in Stoneville, North Carolina. He's a friend of the show. Hell, he's a friend of the family now. We were able to go ahead and help his family recently save more than $1,200 a month. Really think about this. My man Robbie didn't save $1,200 one time. He's going to save it each and every month, all because he went to savewithconrad.com. He left us a 5-star review earlier this week, and he said this: from the first phone call with Christian, all the hard work Diane put in, Jennifer taking time to explain things and help me understand where we were at with the deal, right up to Steve helping me get this survey through, nothing but professionalism all around. Dealing with First Family has helped us to the point we've cut $1,200 a month off our bills. I can't say enough about the team Conrad has assembled. I highly recommend First Family to anyone looking to purchase or refinance their home. Thanks to Conrad and the entire First Family team. No, thank you, James, for the great review, and congratulations on saving $1,200 a month. And oh, by the way, you can skip your next 2 house payments. It's real, folks. SaveWithConrad.com can help you. We're licensed in more than 40 states, but if you've got credit card debt, if you're looking to save money on your monthly payments, if you're looking to pay your house off faster, or even buy a house with no money down, SaveWithConrad.com is your hookup. Holler if you hear me. That's SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. And oh, by the way, you don't need perfect credit. You don't need money out of your pocket. What are you waiting for? Find out how much money you can save for free at SaveWithConrad.com.
All right. Here we are, Professor Cho, King Solomon, Trae.
Is he the king? So here's what the only thing I might know about King Solomon, maybe. Is he the king from the Bible that's like his whole deal was being super fucking rich and wealthy? So that means no or yes?
Yes.
Okay. Because we talked about the bell meaning no.
Yeah, but for right now it means yes.
For now it means
Sometimes
yes.
here's the gimmick with the bell. Sometimes it means
It's
no.
whatever we want it to mean.
Sometimes it means yes, but yes.
Okay.
You are right.
And that's
I mean,
all I know
granted,
about him, except is he the same king? And I feel like he wasn't. Is he the same king?
his daddy. You know
is
his
he
daddy.
the same king that did the baby thing?
Yes.
He is?
And I
Okay.
would like to talk about that
Okay.
later. But
so I know that too.
Yeah, you know that. That's a pretty famous. And you probably only know it, though, because of the Seinfeld episode.
Or actually, I think I might only know it because of the John Mulaney bit.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Or that I've seen it. I've seen it brought up
We're
a few
gonna
times.
cut it in half.
Right. But we're gonna talk about that, right? So we
Yeah,
don't have
for
to
sure.
elaborate on it right now. His daddy, well, I don't know, was it King David?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know what he did?
That's the only Jew king that I knew. So
Yeah, he was a huge Jew king.
he's like the number one Jew king.
Yeah,
right?
but do you know which David that is? Like what he's most famous for?
killing that giant.
Yeah, right. I mean, a lot of people don't know that that's the same guy. Like
Oh, really?
because he wasn't king when he did that shit.
I know that, but that's sort of part of how he got to be king, right?
No, I
Was
know,
it-
but it's like David's a very common name. So like, there's a lot of people that hear David and Goliath, and they hear King David, and they don't know that they're one and the same because like the Bible spans, thousands of years and completely different territories and stuff. So like, like there's a couple different Sauls in the Bible, and there's
they got all kinds of names, and they get confusing as hell. But the David and Goliath thing, I always felt was like kind of a little bit weird because
it's super weird, dude. It did
because,
not
like,
fucking happen.
Because, well, of course not, right? It very didn't. But even if it did happen, it ain't like he whooped his ass, got him in the rear naked choke.
No,
and took
he hit him in
down.
the head with a rock.
It's like the equivalent of like somebody being outmatched in a street fight, and when the big dude walks out, he just shoots him in the face,
Right?
And then everybody being like, "Can you believe he pulled that off?" And it's like, well, I mean,
yeah, he shot him.
he threw a rock into his head.
I mean, I think that it's like so obviously
that'll do that.
There's a lot of things in the Bible that are like meant to be taken as like this really happened, and there's a lot of things in the Bible called parables that are meant to be like no, Jesus did make this up, or like this person did make this up. It's a story, but it's like Aesop's fables. You know what I mean? Aesop's fables are meant to illustrate to you what could happen and illustrate to you a lesson, right? And so like David and Goliath, like, yes, you're right, but I think the lesson there, if you're gonna like break it down into sort of like a parable thing, is that like never underestimate somebody,
Right.
and just because.
Bring a rock to a street fight.
Right, but like use your strength.
And a sling.
But you use your strengths.
Yeah.
Like hypothetically in UFC, there might be Brock Lesnar's going to go up against this 120-pound dude, which I know that would never happen. But
Used
it's like,
to in the early days of
it
the
did.
UFC.
No, it did. But so like it's like this guy's way bigger.
So that little
But-
guy should be like, I should bring a rock to this fight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bring a rock, or like I got to be quick. I got to rope it up. I got to get back. Just like. You're never out of it as long as you play to your advantages, and also never assume that you're too big for something because somebody could come in with a secret weapon and fuck you up.
Right.
So yeah, that was his dad was King David, and he was a super a beloved king, and he also united the Israelites into one kingdom, and I think it's been fine ever since.
Mm-hmm. Last I heard.
Pretty much. He established the Judean dynasty, and of course, most famously, killed Goliath. His mama was Bathsheba. Do you know anything about Bathsheba?
No.
Okay.
Nothing at all. Wild name.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Sounds like a queen to me.
Here's the thing about
Bathsheba. Not a Jewish queen, I wouldn't have thought. Actually, yeah, I guess so.
And I
Yeah, sure.
When I don't know if she was a Jew or not, but like, so Bathsheba is sort of like a
Is that
there
her
you go.
with her titties out?
Yeah. And so she's real famous for having her titties out.
That hits.
Like one of the things she's most famous for, like literally the thing she's most famous for, is having her titties out.
You doing a bit right now, or
I'm being dead serious. The thing
Literally.
she's most famous for is having
She's
her
the
titties
most
A lot
out.
famous-
of naked pictures over here.
so that's why they're painting her like that, because like everybody knew she had her titties out.
Yeah, well, so the reason that David, who is Solomon's dad, the reason that David and Bathsheba got together was because when David was the king, and you also have to understand that David was the king, but also like the way that back then, the way that it's the same thing now, but like the way you ascended to be the king.
Bro, look at that. That's a statue.
Uh-huh.
Statue could get it. Goddamn, look at that statue.
I mean, she was, per Bible times, one of the hottest
Dude,
women on
that's
earth.
some
Holy
Bernini
shit,
shit
man.
right there, dude. You got that like wet shawl
Mhm.
made out of whatever the fuck that's made out
Dude,
of. some
those are
kind of
so
rocks.
crazy.
It's so crazy.
All you have to do is think of a woman and remove every part of the rock that is not the woman.
Sure, that's
Yeah.
it.
So
Well, I should do that.
David was like a super, not Jesus-y, because this is before Jesus, but like him and God were like homeboys. It's like, God helped him kill Goliath. And back then, like the king's worth was based on his relationship to God and yada, yada, which is what we were talking about earlier about how like, oh, wealth not good, God don't like. But back then, like all the kings were super godly, and all of their demises in the Bible are portrayed as a result of when they turned their back on God. So like even when they had all their opulent wealth, if they were still like, God's the best, God was like, money good. But then they would like, they'd be king and they'd start hitting. And when you hit, you sin. And they were just like, God ain't it. And then like their dynasties would crumble. And so they were like, yeah, it's because they turned their back on God. And it's like, no, it's because they started sinning and hitting and they forgot to rule. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they were getting pussy. And so they stopped like ruling the military, and they made some really stupid, shitty deals. But they're like, no, it's because God made all this happen. So David was a very godly man, but where he sort of makes his turn from God, his lust of the flesh, as it were, he's being a king and he's up in the palace one day and he goes up to the roof, and across the way on top of another roof, there's this lady taking a bath, butt naked, and it's Bathsheba. Which like
appropriate.
I know,
Nominative
like
determinism.
Her name is Bathsheba. Because like when I was looking this up, I was like, wait, was that her? Like, was that the lady in the bath? Surely her name wasn't Bathsheba. Turns out it was.
A bit on the nose.
So he sees Bathsheba being all naked and hitting, and he's like, I'm the king. I gotta have that shit. And then he finds out this dude's like, well, that's Bathsheba, and her husband is.
Almost sounds like it's like the thing he said when he first saw her, just like, Bath,
She,
boo. Bath, she,
boo.
Just got overwhelmed with the titty sauce.
So he looks at her and he's like, Bath, she, boo. And he tells one of his dudes, he's like, hey, listen, you know I'm the king? And he's like, true. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna fuck that lady. And the dude's like,
good to be the king, dog.
yeah, super good to be the king. And the guy's like, oh, well, you know, I don't remember the guy's name, but let's just pretend his name was Timus or Typhus or whatever. He's like, you know, Typhus? And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like my best general. He's like one of the hittingest dudes in my army. And he's like, yeah, that's his wife. And so David is just like, oh, well, send him to the front
actually,
line.
he don't.
He don't. He goes, so he sends him to the front lines immediately.
Now that I think about it, he don't hit.
So, like, instead of just being like, I'm the king, I'll fuck her anyways, he's like, I'll have this dude killed. And so he does. He sends him to the front lines, kills him, and then him and Bathsheba get together, and they have Solomon. So Solomon, he ruled over Israel for 40 years and was considered one of the wisest men in the Bible. Like, he's got the... he wrote a lot of shit. Like there's the Song of Solomon in the Bible. He wrote a lot of Ecclesiastes, I believe. So like he was sort of a, multi-talented dude. Like he was a very good military ruler, but he was also like they considered him a sage, like amongst the sage. Like there were dudes whose like whole jobs was being sages. The dudes that just like, just all day. They're just like, what are you doing? Thinking.
Yeah, I always thought that was a pretty good gig if you
Great,
could get it.
just
sages, philosophers.
Yeah, it was before the tanks,
Right.
but like, yeah, being one of those people that just like, and it's like that episode of Seinfeld where like George is talking about his secret to always looking busy is just to look upset.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And like, I feel like those dudes could just sit there literally just sit there all day and just go.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, look at him, he's fucking hard
Yeah.
at work.
Here's another small bag of coins.
So Solomon was considered a sage amongst the sage. Like they're like, not only is he king, he genuinely is one of the most wise people on earth. He made like insane military moves. Like he made he had the Judeo Empire, whatever, and he was like great at making deals with other countries where like basically what he was doing was invading them, but he made it seem like it was their idea. You know what I mean? Like they would join forces.
Yeah.
But basically what it was is be like, hey, I could come in here and like slaughter all of y'all, or we could make a mega empire. And they were just like, okay, yeah,
We'll do the
sure,
second thing.
We'll do the second
That
thing.
sounds better.
Yeah, exactly. So he built the first temple of Jerusalem, which took like 7 years to make. And like, dude, you remember when I was talking about the Biltmore?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Like, we're talking, this is 7 years with the work of like hundreds of thousands of slaves. Which it was
So
fine
the
because
Jews did that after all the shit they had go down with the Pharaoh and everything?
Yeah.
Like they built his pyramids, right?
Mhm.
And were his slaves, and then plagues happened and it didn't
Yeah.
hit for them and they got lost in the desert and all that stuff. And then they get their own kingdom and they immediately start building big ass shit with slaves.
They got institutionalized.
how are you going to build something without slaves?
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, their hands were tied. But
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
the worst part for me is the
now I don't-
hypocrisy.
right now, I don't know. I don't know if they were Jew slaves, like they were probably like
other slaves.
Philistines or something like that, which I don't know.
Yeah, but the Egyptians were like, yeah, but we weren't using Egyptian slaves.
Yeah.
We had Jew slaves.
Yeah, I mean, I do think they feel like, right. No, yeah, for sure. Like nobody cares about like
The other people,
that. Yeah.
especially the Jews throughout most of history,
So
are the ones who did not get cared about by other people.
yeah,
is what I
right.
mean.
Yeah, right. But I mean, he builds this fucking lavish palace. He was said at one point to have I think it was 500 tons of pure gold.
That's what's up.
Like 500 tons, which is what's 500 times 2,000? That's
Bunch.
100,000. 10.
What?
What's how much? How many pounds is 500 tons?
A bunch. What is it? It's, I don't know. 10 million?
10 yeah,
Is that right?
numbers.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Probably
Who
not.
gives a fuck? This dude has a shit ton of money. And for the record, he also
It's 1 million. My bad.
he's a really big feature, obviously, in Judaism and Christianity, but he also is a prophet in Islam. So I don't know if you knew how much
They're
crossover.
good for that.
Yeah, dude. Like
Islam seems like they got a lot of people that hit as prophets in their religion.
yeah, like the three biggest monotheistic religions, which is Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Like they're pretty much all.
Is that not the Abrahamic religions?
Abrahamic religions.
Yeah, right,
Yeah, the Abrahamic religions. So you had Abraham and his brother. No, you had Isaac and Abraham. All right, here's how that worked out. Now I'm gonna botch this, but here's the deal. I don't care because none of it's true. So you had Abraham and he had sons Isaac and he had Ishmael. And Isaac and Ishmael end up not hitting for each other, and
No
they go
way.
and they
In the Bible?
and they go their separate ways. And Isaac follows Abraham and his teachings or whatever, which is where Judaism and Christianity go. And Ishmael, who didn't hit and went to the dark world, that's where Muslims come
Invented
from.
Muslims.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Went
how
over there to the dark
Christians.
world, invented Muslims.
Yeah, this is the
They say.
Christian interpretation of where that happened. I'm not saying that's true. Muslims are fine.
Also, again, none of that's true.
None of it's true. Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter. So, anyways,
Muslims are fine.
Solomon ascends to the throne, even though he was the youngest of 10 sons. David just kind of like thought he hit.
That one hits.
Yeah, he hit more. He had a super good relationship with the Phoenician king Hiram of Tyre, and they united their kingdoms and shared all their gold. King Solomon, bit of a whore.
Mm-hmm.
How many wives did he have?
25, 28, 72. What? 103. What? 153, 212, 311, 413, 508. Shut the fuck up. 700.
700. He had
Wives?
7. Yeah, but
That's
many.
just a harem full of whores,
And
dude.
300
They're like,
but-
but I'm married to them all.
No, but that's
so
the thing.
the Lord's cool with it.
that's the thing. He had 300 concubines.
On
So,
top of
on
the
top of
700
7,
wives?
he had 7.
Imagine not making the wife cut.
I know.
When there's 700
100 wives,
wives.
you're like,
and
no,
it's
you're just a
You
whore.
ain't worthy. You're just going to be a whore.
Some of them were concubines and some of them made the wife cut. So, like, there had to be
Some
some sort of
distinction.
Second string.
distinction or whatever.
Farm team.
So, like I said, he was a big military man. As soon as he ascends to the throne, he starts killing everyone, dominating all the countries, stole all their army. He was big into chariots. He was
They did hit
one
back
of the
then.
biggest chariot sumbitches there were. Like he would basically like go in, fucking army up, and then go to their chariot fleet and be like, "I won't kill y'all if y'all just come hit for me." And they'd be like, "Hey, we with him now.
We'll do
You know,
that. Let's do that
Yeah,
then."
we're with this motherfucker." His estimated net worth. Now, again,
Yeah, right. Like,
again, this didn't happen. I mean, he is a real person,
right.
but like there's the real account of him and then there's the biblical account. And I find it more fun to talk about the biblical account because it's like Harry Potter. It didn't happen. His estimated net worth in today's standards would be $2.3 trillion.
Shit.
What with his
A
500
lot of
ton,
gold.
his
Lot of
500 tons of
slaves.
pure gold, plus he owns all this country and all the real estate and shit. And like, as you mentioned earlier, that famous thing that he did. For those that don't know, like, yeah, his wisdom. He was known for his wisdom, and back then a king was also like sort of judge, jury, and executioner. Like they would have people come up before them, and they would have like mini trials where they would like. But it was actually really like civil court. You know what I mean? If two people in the
Empire, the
in
kingdom,
the empire, had a problem, they could come before the king, and he would give his ruling, and you could either take it or fucking leave it, whatever you wanted to do,
or like get your tongue cut out.
Yeah,
'cause
right.
You're the one who don't hit.
Well, right.
And then the other guy gets a goat.
Yeah.
He gets a goat. Cut his tongue out. Next.
There you go.
Yeah.
So this woman, this woman was, I guess her dude was leaving her, or like she was giving her baby up or some shit, and they couldn't figure out who to give the baby to. And so they were trying to figure out who the rightful mother to this baby was. And so this one was like, it's my goddamn baby. And she was like, bitch, no, fuck you. That's my goddamn baby. And Solomon says, he goes, okay, here's what I propose. I'm going to cut the baby in half, and you can each have half of it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the women apparently said, all right.
I'll take half
of
the
the baby.
Like, why? I know the whole point. I know the whole point of it was whichever one ain't cool with it, that's the rightful mother.
Yeah, but who
like,
would want
if
half
you-
a baby?
If you had it, if you were there to argue that you should have a baby,
Yeah.
in what universe would
Do you
anybody
want
be like,
half of-
sure, I'll take half of it?
Yeah, right.
What are you gonna do with half of a baby?
You're just going to throw it away because it starts stinking.
You'd have to,
Right.
So yeah,
Doorstop.
like
So,
I don't know.
no, I know.
The
It's
pinnacle of wisdom.
It's very stupid. Like I said, he wrote a bunch of books, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Songs. It was also believed that he wrote 2 Psalms.
Mm-hmm.
He was the Song of Solomon in the Bible is him. Basically, that whole book of the Bible is a love story, and it's him writing about his many wives and concubines.
Well, that's sweet.
It is sweet, but it's also like, how is that still the Bible?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like with all that, it's one man, one
Yeah.
woman, whatever, and like except for the
But
Song
also
of
in the Bible,
Solomon.
he's like, let me tell you about all my bitches, y'all.
Yeah.
How much they all hit?
So according to the Bible, the only reason that he stopped hitting as king is because he strayed further from God. He started, fucking whores.
What?
Yeah, like
He started fucking
when he
whores?
first became king, he wasn't
So it's
fucking
like, now
whores.
I
'cause
got
he-
700 wives, 300 concubines, and now I'm also getting some whores in here.
No, I meant
Like,
because
a
of
little different.
all that
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah, because of all that stuff. That's funny.
Yeah.
Like imagine not making the concubine cut.
It's like 1,000 women. That's whatever. But now that he's got a couple whores,
So again, he was a super good military guy at the start. Like to me, reading about King Solomon is sort of like if you're a Sopranos fan or if you're a Game of Thrones fan, it's like he started off like Tony Soprano seasons 1 through 4 and Tyrion Lannister seasons 1 through 4, and then at the end everybody's like, is this the same fucking dude?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's dumb. Like what the fuck? So he made a bunch of bad decisions, and but ultimately he didn't get his like head cut off or nothing. But he did. He died at 80 of natural causes around 931 BC, which is a number that I just can't fucking fathom.
yeah, that's a long ass time ago.
He was marred by like a lot of attacks and like attempted insurrections, but ultimately he died of natural causes and would go down as one of God's, number one homeboys and one of the most opulent motherfuckers that ever lived, King Solomon.
King Solomon, give it up.
Yeah, buddy. Wild stuff.
Flossing.
What else did we say we were going to talk about?
Nothing.
When we were talking about this, I was like, oh, yeah, I'll talk about that too.
I do not know.
Fuck it. Well, that
Sorry.
was King Solomon.
Yeah. All right. Well, now, thank y'all for being here, but stick around for this edition of Clearing the Airs. All right, airheads. Say you love you. Bye.
1, 2, 3,
I'm
4,
so
1,
hot.
2, 3, 4. Royalty and rednecks are alike. They both like cutting and picking fights. Biscuits and baked beans where they don't belong. Sit on down with Corey and Trae and learn some fancy shit today. We'll laugh a little even when they're wrong. They'll take you to a magical place where if you call someone a cunt, nobody cares. They keep it debonair at Puttin' On Airs, Puttin' On Airs, Puttin' On Airs, Puttin' On Airs.
Do you remember what we talked about this week? Or
I
what the
ain't
show
done
was?
No.
It
You
was.
tell me, what's the show this week? Does it hit? I'm real far behind. I'm like 5
You've been on
episodes
the
behind
road.
on our own show. I haven't been listening to them. I've been fucking, busy lately. I've definitely had opportunities.
I wasn't mad at you.
I know. I'm
Yeah,
just
you're
letting everybody
you're
else
not
know out
on
there.
airplanes. There's not a chance that you could have taken an hour of that flight to listen to the episode
I got a
that we
dumb
had.
question for you on that front.
I had
You
to look
can-
it up, by the way.
When producer Russ sends us the pre-cut of the episode for this express purpose, he sends it to us explicitly so we can re-listen to it and be like, hey, when I said all that stuff about the Chinese or whatever, let's cut that out,
Yeah.
which that didn't happen. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that type
Now,
of thing.
we did talk about we did talk about the Chinese on this episode.
Oh, really? That's funny. I didn't
A
even
little
know.
bit, but it was
I
fine.
just
We don't need to
assumed.
cut it. Yeah, right.
But anyway, whenever he does that, he uses Dropbox to share stuff.
Mhm.
Could I save that to my phone and listen to it on an
Yeah.
airplane? Yeah, see, I didn't
Yeah.
even know that.
Yeah, you could download it, and I do, because then I go out to the woods and
When
listen
you download
to
it,
So
where does it go on your phone? How do you find it if you
in
download
your
it to your phone?
Dropbox, and then
Oh,
you just
okay.
you get Dropbox, and then
Yeah,
you
I
just
got
download it.
Dropbox. Don't hit for me. I'm a Google Drive person. I don't like Dropbox.
I
don't
hear-
like
I
I don't
hear
like the
ya.
way they operate. Matter of fact, I stopped
I hear-
paying them.
I-
They can
I
kiss
lo-
my
I
ass.
love-
They sponsor a show in the future, then that's fine. I'll get back on board, I guess. But they
I
don't hit
love
for me.
how it was at first. It was, oh, I didn't know you could do that, and now it's. I mean, Dropbox don't hit for me.
No,
It's like you didn't
they
even
already,
try.
They already
Yeah,
didn't
they don't hit for
me.
me either. Yeah,
They already,
don't hit
I'd
for
already
me
made
either.
up my mind that they don't hit for me. So
Yeah.
like that's part of why. Anyway, whatever. It don't matter.
It's a
No,
protest.
don't-
I understand. Listen,
I don't-
it was
I don't have a
Florida and
clue.
King Solomon. It was Florida
Okay.
and King Solomon, and we did talk. This is one thing I wanted to point out. It's funny because you say, when we cut out the stuff about the Chinese, and let me preface this by saying, not in a bad way, but we said the word Jew like I don't know.
Well, it was a
70
Florida
times.
episode. What
I
are you gonna
know.
do?
I know. It was most, but it's
They
like
got a lot
yeah,
of Jews. Jews
the
like
whole
Florida.
time. I've referenced this bit 1,000 times, but the whole time I was listening to the episode, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Where Tim Wilson said, he's like, the word Jew isn't a slur, but the way I say it is,
Yeah.
and because like every time, and it was us doing it, but I would be like, oh my God, it's like, no, that's how you would say that. You would go, there's a bunch of Jews in Florida. There are. And you, at one point, you were just like, oh, I didn't mean that in a Jew way. I meant that in a, but it made sense. Like it perfect.
Yeah.
Like, oh, right on. Okay, that checks out. But like with our accent, the word Jew, it sounds, it sounds rough. But it was a good episode. I listened to it earlier today on my walk. I found it to be one of the funnier episodes we've done because we not only talked about Florida and King Solomon, but we also talked about that decorated general dog. You remember that dog?
Yeah. The Air
And you
Force
made a-
colonel or whatever it was. Yeah. Fufu
Yeah, it
or
was-
something like that.
Fufu, something moo moo poo poo or fufu.
Yeah.
And we also did a whole Florida man section of Natch, and dude, I was rolling hard, man. It was funny, and this is funny too. I'm gonna call myself on this bullshit. I go in the King Solomon part. I said, King David, you know what he's most famous for? And you go, well, yeah, knocking that giant out. And I go, oh yeah, well, it's just that a lot of people don't know that those are the same person. That was me. That would like when I was not always, and at this point I knew it was different, but there was a long time in my life that I thought they were different. And
What
I was
did I
basically
say in response to that? Because did I just let
You
that
go-
slide? Or
no, you go, really? I feel like everybody knows that. And I was like,
because I definitely do feel like everybody knows.
yeah,
that.
and I was like, well, Trey, you have to understand, there's a whole bunch of Davids in the Bible, and there's like a whole bunch of same name motherfuckers, and you were like, yeah, that is true. And I was like, and also, when he hit the dude in the head with a rock, he wasn't like, it's not like he was a royal, and you were like, yeah, that's how he became the king. And I was like, fair, Trey, but you have to understand, some people, and I was doing this whole fucking projection thing, and I could hear it, and I was like, you think you're being slick, dog. Like, you really think you're being slick. Now, again, before I did this episode, I absolutely knew it, and I've known it as an adult, but I think there was a large part of my life that when I heard King David, I didn't think that he was the David of Goliath, because they sound like two separate people.
Well, I've said this before, not on POA, I don't think, but I've definitely talked about it on Well Read. But I was like a fucking grown man and father of two before I found out that dandelions that you blow and like the little yeller dandelion that's the same exact flower. I did not.
Wasn't I the one that told you that?
No, I remember talking about it on the show because I had found out, and I remember we talked about it on Well Read. I don't know, maybe it was you, but I didn't think so because I thought I told you and Drew that on the show.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I didn't, but yeah, I didn't know. I was probably 30-ish when I found that out. So it happens.
You take a razor with a pencil?
Ear?
Yeah,
no,
yeah, the back end of it.
don't.
God damn, I'm sorry, it itched so bad. Well, it's not. I haven't used it to erase anything.
That's not why.
You mean like piercing my eardrum?
Up into your ears? What you doing?
I know, but it itched. I wasn't trying to get nothing out of my ear. It
You
itched.
shoving it back up in there. All the stuff that don't hit.
Well, how am I supposed to get it out?
You can't.
So just let it itch?
Yeah, I guess. No,
that
I
ain't
don't know.
it. And
They say
fuck
that
Yeah, I know you're
everybody
not.
does it.
You're not even supposed to use Q-tips in your
you're
ears.
not. Which
Like
I'm
even
always
says
like,
on the
I don't know
box.
what they're for then. Like,
I think taking like lipstick off.
Women do stuff with them.
Yeah,
that
they like
ain't
take their
ear
lipstick
cleaning,
off.
But in my head, it was always like those are ear. And dude, I guess they got to put that on the box, but they know.
Everybody know what time it is.
They know. Everybody know what time.
Yeah.
They know what they're selling them for.
Yeah,
People
Yeah.
are cleaning their fucking ears out with those, and everybody knows it.
and they hit.
I saw this. I was up the other night, couldn't sleep on the road, watching a UFC rerun. And they got UFC reruns at fucking 1 a.m, dude.
It hits.
Garbage commercials, right? Just the dumbest fucking commercials you've ever seen. And I saw this commercial on there for this thing that's like a little water gun for your ear.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You hold it up to your ear. It just showed a bunch of people standing in showers, like spraying their ear, and it was so fucking. People are like, it really
Like a water
feels like
pick?
it's cleaning my ear. It was like such
Yeah,
a stupid fucking commercial. But by the end of it, I was like, I kind of want to try that thing.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like a bidet for your ear.
Yeah, exactly.
But have you seen the shit that them goddamn hippies do?
What? Which one?
So they shove like some sort of candle
Oh yeah,
in
ear
their
candling,
head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they light it, and then it's supposed to draw all
Yes.
the shit out. Do you believe in
Yeah.
that?
No, I'm almost certain that I've read that that's proven bullshit. That doesn't do anything. Ear candling. Yeah, they think it because that's wax and your ears wax, right? So when you heat up wax, it pulls in the other wax, and then you can pull all the wax out or whatever. But that shit don't work.
No, it's just
Hippies are fucking
stupid.
stupid, dude.
Dude, they're so fucking stupid. That and astrology.
Stupid,
I'm
naked,
sorry,
stinking all the time.
dude.
Ain't
Because
never
I'm
got
having
a job.
because I'm having a kid. So many people have been like, "When's it due?" And I'm like, April, and they're just like, an Aries, and I'm like, that's not real. Like it
Really?
doesn't
They
matter.
hit you with the first?
Yes, because
That's
they were. I was
interesting,
like,
because I'm a fucking
got-
Aries.
I know. And this one
I
person,
don't believe in any of that shit, but still, somebody being like, "Ugh, an Aries."
This one
I'm like,
person-
the fuck is that about? What's supposed to be
this
wrong with
one-
us? I have no idea.
I asked, and I was like, well, what am I? Oh, I'll play the devil's advocate here. What am I in store for? And they were like, well, they can be moody, they can be, and they list just all these things that every fucking person on Earth is.
That's
like,
how that
I was
shit
like, you
works.
just, oh, I know. I was like, you just described me, and I'm a Sagittarius. So what the fuck?
See, they get people with that stuff all the time. I remember there was this other thing that
you want to believe?
I found on the internet years ago, like back in like the early days. That this is like I was on dial up, and I found this website that was like Colorgenics or something like that, that sounds like that could be real
Hitler.
bad and some Nazi type
Yeah.
shit. Colorgenics. I might have that wrong, but it wasn't anything remotely like that. It was this pseudo-science made-up psychobabble bullshit, which I realize now, where they show you 6 squares, 6 different colors, and you click those squares in order of preference. And your order of preference with these colors is supposed to tell you a lot about yourself, according to this website.
Right.
So you click the squares in order of preference, and then it gives you a psychological profile at the end of it. And I did this when I was in like high school. I was like 17 or something. And it fucking blew my stupid little mind. And I was like telling everybody about it and all this stuff because I was like, that is me to a T, right? But I realize now it's like that's how they do that.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
like all sort of nebulous and general and vague and applies to most people and fucking they do it it's like mediums when they're talking to the dead. You know,
oh
whatever.
yeah,
They do the same type of thing.
Have you ever had a man in your life die?
Right.
Oh my
Right.
God, I have had a man in my life die.
A, you know, like
Alfred.
whatever. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. The most common letters and all that shit. Yeah, right. That type of thing. That's how all that shit works. Hippies, dumb. They fall for it all.
Absolute fucking morons.
Hippies are fine. We're just playing with y'all.
Yeah, we're obviously
hippies are.
Yeah, we're obviously
it's just fun
kidding.
to make fun of hippies.
Yeah, it's way fun to make fun of hippies. And I think most hippies don't think that we're talking about them because they're like, yeah, I know those hippies, and I'm not one of those dumb hippies.
It's like
you are
hoes with a rap song. You know what I mean?
He ain't talking about me.
He ain't talking about me.
Oh my God. Well, since I think we've covered the episode, it was very, very funny. I fucked up. You can't fuck up when talking about Florida. There's no such thing as wrong. There is only right and alternative right. And you nailed it. You fucking the dog stuff was hilarious. I can't wait to clip it out. You also, I don't remember what segment we were in with this. Oh, it was Florida. Duh. You and I'm definitely using this as a clip, but just to remind you, you were showing me Florida Man headlines, and this one hero had gone down to the beach and he had been crabbing, and he took a crab and he spray painted Hillary Clinton as a lying bitch on it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Country crab, as we said.
Yeah.
And so anyways, it was a great show.
Funny.
I said, it's so funny, dude. And as we said in the show, it's not that we agree with the messaging. It's just hilarious.
Painting that on a crab is
unreal.
So goddamn
funny.
A
living crab.
Yeah,
a living crab.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do, we've really had fun here on the after show. So I'm only going to do one piece of airmail, and I have, I have the ones that I was going to read blocked off, and I will get to those next week, but it's a pretty fucking long one. I know that surprises you with our fans, Trae, but it's a real long email. So this is from our good buddy, friend of the show. Howdy from the Lone Star State, fellers. If this email finds its way to being read on air, I would be tickled. If it does, I'd prefer you not use my name. God damn it.
Gucci goo, motherfucker.
Just call me our friend in Texas. All right, well, I'll bleep that out. I couldn't fucking vet the first paragraph.
I did that on one of the episodes where I was reading airmail. I did the exact same thing. I just said it was from and down at the, but she put it at the end though. I remember it was like a PS thing.
That's
and it's like PS, please don't use my name or whatever. And I was like, well, fuck.
I know, and I think that's why that this person who shall not be named decided I'll put it at the front that way. Surely to God, this dumb motherfucker.
Yeah,
right. Oh, God. All right. So our friend from Texas says, I was playing around with the Mid-Journey bot on Discord, and it came up with the attached pic for senior Georgia correspondent Corey Targaryen. Well, first off, I will show that. Look at that.
Yeah.
You see the fucking ring light. I should have. You see that? Corey Targaryen, first of his name? That's pretty fucking tight. That wasn't the whole of the email, though, and now I'm screwed up. I thought that the show might like it for his Little House of the Dragon podcast, which, by the way, thank y'all for listening to that. It's the sister podcast of Puttin On Airs, where me and my sister discuss Little House of the Dragon. I watch and love all the shows in the Skewniverse. I even love Well Read when y'all are out and you have Uncle Daddy Drew guest host. Well,
guest host. That's hilarious.
That is funny.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's inside baseball on that.
Co-host. Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's just that we're not there, so it don't
even when
hit
that
us hard.
dipshit sits in on an otherwise hitting show, I still like it.
For real though, y'all always kill it. I'd love to see more things like Tiger by the Tail if y'all are so inclined, and I'm eagerly awaiting season 2 of Bubba. Well, don't get your fucking hopes up. I digress. I loved clearing the airs this past week, especially the email y'all read from Lady S about facing colorism in her family. It was really nice to feel represented by another listener. I'm also a Hispanic that passes, not purposely, but definitely exclusively, as white and have seen a lot of the same colorism issues in my family. I'm a native Texan, and then in parentheses, pew, 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 pew. and count of the way I talk, and on account of the way I talk, have always been labeled as a Texican, Hispanic, or Rednexican when people learn that I'm Hispanic, usually only when someone hears my last name or my full first name, which I will not say. I can't count the number of times I've heard that I don't sound or look Mexican, or that I must be one of the good ones. I don't say things like arriba, arriba, and andale, andale.
Yeah.
I don't, he says, I don't know if this was a typo or not, but he says, I don't speak with a Mexican accent. I wear stranglers. My boots aren't those curved, pointy monstrosities that look like they were made by Santa's Juan Brown elf. This dude's fucking crushing. Or it could be a girl. Who knows? I didn't say their name. And the only sombrero I put on my head is a Stetson. I do rock guayaberas very, very often. I don't know what that is. So I might could see how that's confusing. Most folks have no idea how redneck some Mexicans are. I fucking got a real good clue.
No, I was going to say, like, all this stuff he said, I was going to be like, dude, fucking
That's,
Mexicans.
sounds Mexican.
Again,
Yeah.
there you go. Fucking Mexicans, dude. But no, they, no, there's a lot of overlap with rednecks and especially like in Texas.
Absolutely.
Like all that shit. I mean, the fucking cowboy boots and the hats and the shirts. It's the same shit that they both fuck with.
Right.
A lot of times.
For sure.
Beans, hell
That's-
yeah.
That's what he says right here. He says, in general, we all do the same shit that white trash does. It just hits a little harder and tastes a little better.
That's true.
My mama's side is half white, so I had the genetic benefit of being able to point out trash, be it white or brown. Oh, and Lady S was absolutely right about beans. Baked beans suck ass and are a sacrilege that should be eaten by no one ever. Borracho beans only, no exceptions.
Let me cut in
PS,
one more
I
time
would
and
like
say,
to point
'cause I
out that
just
the
remembered
PS is equally as long as the email.
Well, then hang on before you, if it's genuinely
Go
as
ahead.
long as the email. 1 second, you just reminded me, and I'll say, if Lady S is still listening out there, my wife has requested your beans recipe. If you want to email
Hell
us
yeah.
again, because she said she agrees with you, and baked beans don't hit. So she wants some better beans in her life. Anyway, go ahead.
P.S. I thought y'all might enjoy this. I grew up in a small town that sits right on the Mexican border. The town, as you can imagine, is almost entirely Hispanic. Just outside of town, however, there is an Air Force base that happens to be a hub for fighter pilot training. I'm sure you can also imagine that most of the folks being trained as fighter pilots in the late 70s and into the 80s and 90s were white men. Anyhow, we had this creek in town, which is creek for those of you who don't know. We had this creek in town where many of the locals would take their kids to swim. It sits right next to a community park, and people would hang out there to barbecue and get drunk for hours on end while their kids swam. Like I said, we all trash. This area of town happens to be right along the highway that runs out of the town toward the Air Force base. So anytime the white pilots needed to come into town for any reason, they would be greeted by the sounds of blaring Tejano music, the smell of freshly grilled fajitas, and the sight of dozens of unsupervised little brown kids swimming in the creek. Those pilots lovingly referred to this part of town as the bean dip.
Yeah. Tracks.
Pinches gringos. Anyway, love what y'all do, and I'll keep tuning in. Love y'all. Your friend in Texas. Thank you, our friends in Beep. Yeah, thank you, our friends in Texas. Well, thank all of our friends from Texas and other places for listening to Putting On Airs. If you haven't rated and reviewed it, we really would love it if you did that. It takes you 2 seconds, but it really helps us out. Share it with your friends. Like, download, subscribe, all that stuff, and check out Little House of the Dragon with me and my sister, and I appreciate all of you that have left such glowing comments. My sister was nervous about her internet debut, but she's having so much fun, and I'm having fun with her, and we love y'all, and stay fancy, motherfuckers.
Skew.